Oh. Oh. There's an echo in here.
Echo.
Oh, that's nice. Hi, everyone. It's episode 55 of the 2-Minute Terminator, the Dying on Its Arse show that had 53 episodes ripped off YouTube yesterday.
Indeed.
Ethan, your darling host, and Ellie, your co-host, have worked tirelessly all day to actually redo every single episode.
I can't claim any credit. You've done it all.
All right. I'll try to be nice to you. Oh God, there's such a long road ahead. Spalding, you listen to this. Can you check if you, as an American, can see this show on YouTube? Apparently, John Nichols can't. You can see it on my computer, but not anyone else's.
But you've uploaded them now, though, haven't you?
I've uploaded them, so I guess as the author of the page, I can see them, but they just block from anyone to see. So I have to re-put them up again and hope for the best.
Because of Studio Anal.
Studio Canal Plus. Go fuck yourself.
yourselves.
Hit the music.
Watch out for machines, they're unstoppable. Watch out for machines, they will rule the world.
And we're back.
And we are back.
It's episode 55, Ellie.
What minutes are we going from and to?
Oh, well, that is a great question. See, I didn't check that. I was too busy sobbing like a schoolgirl with a skin knee over...
Well, we're going from 1 hour and
Basically,
48 minutes to 1 hour 50.
Yeah, exactly. 1 hour 48 minutes to 1 hour 50, so we're almost at the 2 hour mark. Miles Dyson has infiltrated the lab with Sarah Connor and the T-1000 and John Connor in tow. They're having a grand old time, smashing up the lab with axes and sledgehammers and breaking computer discs and CD-ROMs.
This must have been an awesome part to shoot.
Yeah, just breaking stuff. Look at Arnie. Look at him having the time of his life there, just
Absolutely.
breaking computers with axes.
Do you reckon he's kind of like gone back into his like Austrian way of thinking and he's imagining he's like doing ethnic cleansing?
Well, apparently I think his father was in the special police, which is a nice way of saying
Yeah,
it.
but that was at a time where you were either with them or you fucking got killed.
Anyway, listeners, we break down the Terminator films 2 minutes at a time, only to be crushed under the jackbooted heel of corporate France.
Yeah, I still can't believe when you opened up your emails and you were just like, and it just went.
Yeah, it looked like there was a ton of dick pics coming in from Grindr from around the world, but there wasn't. It was.
Have you ever been on Grindr?
I've looked over people's shoulders on Grindr. Actually, my friend Kieran got sent a profile on Grindr going, "I really like you. I've got AIDS, but my sexual fantasy, what I like to do is like fuck people and shoot AIDS into them." And he had a picture of his bum hole.
Shoot AIDS into them.
He had piles. I'm not even making this up. He had piles as well.
Oh my God.
This dude was a wreck. So he liked having
I want to shoot AIDS into people.
He liked having his piles nibbled. That's the thing.
Nibble?
That's the... that's the thing.
I thought Flipper Boy was bad.
No. There is a thing in the gay community that like there are like... rogue gays that go around with HIV that get off on the idea of infecting people. And not to like throw them under the bus, there are people out there that kind of want that as well, to be infected.
Jesus Christ, there's some weird people out there, man. And that's coming from me.
No, but it's the same mentality that people that write to serial killers and want to marry them in prison and stuff.
Yeah, but I can understand that a little more because that's psychology and a serial killer
yeah, but having AIDS, if you're some perverse way, having AIDS makes you kind of...
Yeah, but having AIDS is going to kill you eventually.
Not anymore. The drugs let you... I guess you can.
It kills you eventually, dude.
You on it? No, you can manage AIDS now.
You have AIDS, not HIV, but full-blown AIDS.
I thought HIV was worse than AIDS.
I think HIV is. I don't know. They're both pretty bad.
Well, anyway, thank you.
Isn't one like the early stages and one's like the virus, which you can't get rid of?
Yeah.
You're right.
But that's like a form of herpes, isn't it?
Bam, herpes.
I actually had a girlfriend.
I've never had
when
a
I
cold
went out
sore.
with, I'll just say her name. No one knows her surname. Harriet. She's now a pop star. Darling.
Ethan!
What?
Be professional.
Yeah, we went to the clinic once and they got our results mixed up and they said, "Oh, we're very sorry, you've got HSBC." No, that's a bank. Hepatitis C,
She thought she had Hep C.
which is literally like one shade off HIV, or really. I think Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee have it, but like it's really bad.
What are the symptoms?
No idea, but like we were completely shunned by all the family. They looked at me like I was cheating on her all the time. I wasn't.
Were you though?
Me now would sue the clinic, but apparently it was just a massive fucking foul up with the results.
What are the
Symptoms of hepatitis C.
symptoms?
By the way, listeners, thanks
of
for sticking with us. It's
Hep
been
C?
a strange couple of weeks here. So the last 2 or 3 episodes have been a bit discombobulated because of the kind of war we're having with a giant studio, essentially. Lionsgate, who own, I think, Terminator 1 now. MGM, who own Terminator 1, sorry.
You have a
And Studio Canal, who are a bunch of fucking
but
assholes.
you've found a way around it though, haven't you?
We haven't, because we haven't uploaded them yet. I've got to reprocess every episode, 53 episodes. I've done 17 today. Then I've got to upload them, which can take anything up to an hour per episode. So there's like a lot of work ahead of me. Plus, we've got to record a show every day and process that into the list. So we're kind of like putting the train ahead of the track, essentially. So it's a bit of a pain in the ass.
Well, that looks dodgy.
Anyway, we are going from the 1 hour, 108 minute mark to the 110 minute mark. That's the 1 hour, 48 minute mark to the 1 hour, 50 minute mark. We're coming up to 2 hours. I'm Ethan McKinley, as I said.
And I'm Ellie Fitzgerald.
Uh,
you never like let me introduce myself anymore. Why is that?
Because I expect you to jump in.
But I can't because you keep going and then you'll go on to something else.
Well, in my defence, I've had some really great zingery jokes, and you've just been like rabbiting on. I haven't been able to get a word in. You kind of crushed my jokes. Last 2 episodes, actually. Can't cite the exact example or the joke because it went out of my head. But anyway, we shouldn't fight in the air, baby.
We're not fighting. I'm
I've
just
got
saying.
hepatitis C. I'll infect your ass.
I'll infect your ears.
It starts with Arnold walking out of the Halon system smoke. Halon system, of course, if you didn't catch yesterday's episode, is a chemical fire retardant system that sprays down into the office. But in the film, Dyson goes, "Don't go in there, you need a mask," and Arnold goes and gets the masks. But according to my research, Halon actually doesn't disperse any oxygen, which actually weirdly feeds the fire. It just kills the fire and doesn't leave any residue or damage to anything living or dead in the immediate vicinity. Obviously, I've only kind of dipped my toe into the research, but I don't know. Cameron couldn't got it wrong.
Why is my internet not working?
Anyway, it starts with Arnold coming out with "Put this on" with the gas masks.
Put this on.
It ends with all the cops in the area arriving at Cyberdine at the behest of actor Mike Muscat when he had just send everything you got in the area. Yeah, it's him.
And her.
So, we have some trivia and a fact attack.
Fact attack. Pew, 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 pew.
Now, this actually links, you know what, I think because of the foul up in the timeline, which our avid listeners will have known about. You'll see a bunch of yellow barrels around the scene. I actually think they come into the next part of the scene, but I'll just say it now because who gives a shit. The chemicals they use to blow up the lab, they're in yellow barrels, a bit like the barrels that they attach to Jaws in Jaws 1.
Ooh.
Right? It's a flammable chemical solvent. Now, if I'm going to get the name of this right, it's Ploydichloric Euthimol. Is that right?
That's impressive.
Ploydichloric Euthimol. Ploydichloric Euthimol. It'll be in the show notes of the show.
Yes, it is. Well done, I'm impressed.
Well, this is in the
Someone
clean
that can
room
barely
at Cyberdine Labs. And Ploydichloric Euthimol.
Just call it PE.
PE is actually a reference to another film, a Sean Connery film.
What's that?
Outland, which some have argued is a bit of an alien rip-off. It came out in 1981. It's basically a space mining colony. And there's this kind of like, everyone's getting addicted to this like weird drug. And
Keep
dying,
going.
and they have suicidal tendencies. They go outside and take the space helmets off so the heads explode, stuff like that. And it's basically a whodunit mystery with Sean Connery.
I've never even heard of it. It can't have been that good.
No, I mean, it's directed by Peter Hyams. He's quite like, he's done like, I think he's done The Relic and Time Cop and, you know, stuff like that. It's quite like a workman, yeoman-like director. A journeyman director, that's it. He just takes the next best job. 2010, the sequel to 2001, A Space Odyssey with Roy Scheider. He directed 1984 with John Lithgow. doing the voice, aren't I?
Yeah, do the voice.
Yeah, so it's in reference to the fictional drug Ploydichloric
PE.
Euthimol, which is the fictional drug used in Outland, which makes everyone kill themselves.
Oh,
It stars
fuck.
Sean Connery.
Why would you take a drug that would make you want to kill yourself?
Well, I mean, no one knows the side effects of any drugs, do they? Really?
Yeah, they do. They know what the side effects of ecstasy are. They know what the side effects
Not
of.
really, because
course they do.
pure MDMA, which is the basis for ecstasy, doesn't have any weird side effects apparently.
Yeah, but it has. Well, I say side effects. You come down from it.
You do.
Your back aches.
Would you not argue though that if they perfected it on a clinical level, that wouldn't happen?
I don't think you should mess around with it. I think that's when shit starts to get fucked up. It's like when they made methadone. If you mix methadone and ketamine, that can be a lethal concoction and you can die.
Really?
Yeah,
What is that?
I saw a kid because methadone it's an upper and it increases your heart rate at ridiculous speed, whereas ketamine slows down your heart rate. So your heart is under so much stress it doesn't know what it's doing.
It's called candy flipping.
I was at a party once
It's
and
called
this
candy
girl
flipping.
she'd done she was used to taking like a fair amount of ketamine. And she did a line of methadone, and she literally hit the floor and started like frothing at the mouth. And we went to call an
Maybe
ambulance.
she was hungry.
And the guy whose house party we were at was just like, "Oh no, don't call an ambulance, don't call an ambulance." And we were like, she's kind of dying on the floor, dude." And then there was all this stuff out in the news about how like the concoction of ketamine and methadone, and because it was a brand new drug, people didn't know. They thought it was just like ecstasy, because they banned one of the elements that was in MDMA for a while, and you couldn't get MD for ages.
Which
so
actually is safer than.
Oh,
most
it's like
drugs
it's
out there.
literally one of the safest drugs you can take.
Safer than alcohol, Ellie.
Yeah, way safer.
Wow, that's interesting.
Because people act in ways that they wouldn't do when they're drunk, and your fucking judgment's all out. And I mean, you know what you're doing,
You're clear as a bell,
but
it just takes down
people
barriers.
like, you know, you hear of kids like climbing up on fucking scaffolding and falling off, or kids falling into rivers
When
and
they're drunk.
yeah.
Okay.
MDMA, well, come on, dude, you know exactly what you're fucking doing. You're just happy and horny.
A remarkably frank response there from PhD Dr. Ellen Fitzgerald.
I do know a fair bit about drugs.
Anyway, Outland, star Sean Connery, of course. It features James B. Sicking, who anyone from the 1980s will remember. He was from the Hill Street Blues TV show. He wore the cap. The cap, yeah. Frances Sterningen, who's actually an elderly actress who's been in like tons of stuff going way back when. She's in Misery, she's in The Mist, but she's still working amazingly. And So It Goes On was the last thing she did in 2014. But she's like the ball-busting kind of doctor. She's really good.
So do you reckon the barrels full of this PE stuff in Terminator is going to be the same as what they're talking about in Highland?
No,
what's it
but the
called?
name is just a nod to Outland. I don't know why and how that connects
Outland.
James Cameron. I will go as far to say maybe, because previously on the show, as we have discussed, that James Cameron was a matte artist. In fact, you saw one of his matte paintings in a film this week when you saw Escape from New York from the first time, didn't you?
I did. It was good. It's not as good as I thought it was going to be. I'm not going to lie.
I think it's a really good idea,
It
though.
was
And
good.
the execution's good. It's quick filming, an hour and a half.
It is.
Snake Plissken's cool as fuck.
Snake Plissken is very, very cool. But it's not as good as I thought it was going to be.
What do you think?
I
what
think
did you think it was going to be like?
there was a lot of hype around it, and people kept saying, "Oh, you got to watch this movie." And you've said to me quite a few times, "Oh, you know, you've really got to see it."
It's one of my favourite films.
I wouldn't agree. I thought The Thing was better.
Oh no, The Thing is
The
a better
Thing's
film.
amazing.
The Thing's better. Yeah, absolutely. But you have to imagine when John Carpenter did Dark Star, which you've not seen, but then he started off with Assault on Precinct 13, which you thought
That was good. Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
Out of 10, what was that? Considering it's an old movie and a really simple premise. But you thought there was good tension in it, wasn't there?
8.5.
Oh, wow. Okay, so that's a really good result. So he went from Assault on Precinct 13. He made Halloween a classic.
That's 10 for me. I love Halloween.
He then did The Fog a year later.
Fog. That's really good. That's really scary.
He then did Escape from New York. He just kept knocking out all these great concept films.
Absolute bangers.
Yeah.
Strictly
basically.
bangers, no mash.
Yeah. Then he did The Thing.
Thing's amazing.
And then he did your favourite from 1983.
Oh God, don't do this to me.
Christine.
Oh, Christine.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that is an awesome movie.
And then
That's 11.
And then Starman. I put a baby.
Starman
in
was
tonight.
great as well. That was
Really?
really weird. I liked that movie a lot. Yeah,
Yeah?
because he was just so bizarre.
Do you know why he did? I'm going to answer the original question of why James Cameron's connected Outland to Terminator. I will get to it, listeners. Do you know why he made Starman?
Was it a dream that he had?
No, because that's actually one of the Christine as well, and Starman were the first films he directed that weren't from scripts or ideas that he had.
Where were they from? Books?
Well, Stephen King wrote obviously Christine,
yeah.
and then Starman. Oh God, did he do Star? I think maybe he did write Starman. Let's look it up.
If you can get are you able to get the internet to work? My internet's not working. I'm worried that there's something wrong with my computer. It keeps coming up with your connection's not private.
Jack Nietzsche obviously did the electronic score. Now, who wrote it? Director? Oh yeah, Bruce Evans and Reynold Gideon are two of the writers from it. So yeah, it's not a project he didn't write. Now the reason for that is, Ellie, The Thing was a massive flop.
A box office flop, or just people didn't like it?
People didn't like it, and it was a box office flop.
What? Why?
It came out in the summer of 1982.
Is it because it was a remake of a movie that had already been done?
No, because it's so like diametrically different to The Thing from Another World, which is God, what's his name? His favourite director, John Carpenter's favourite fucking director. What's his name?
I have no idea, darling.
Not Sam Peckinpah.
Right, okay, I've managed to make my internet work.
Howard Hawks. He did The Outlaw with Jane Russell. Basically, he's John Carpenter's favourite director. He wanted to remake The Thing. The Thing from Another World is basically this like Frankenstein carrot man walking around the Arctic base killing people. Exactly like
Carrot
Frankenstein's monster. Yeah.
Is it like Pumpkinhead?
Played by James Arness, who was my pseudonym when
Who
I
also
used
has
to go
the
on
same
like
name as
porn
James
websites
Cameron.
when I was a kid.
What was the name?
James Arness, the guy that played the Thing in the film, basically is a stuntman actor. There he is, James Arness. But the original Thing was just like a big man walking around with a square head. The original story, Who Goes There by William Campbell, was about this shape-shifting alien. So John Carpenter took that idea and literally just made the book, essentially. But because it came out in the summer of 1982, essentially it came out at the same time as E.T., and people decided that summer that they liked a nice alien.
Oh.
Well, the Thing's
If
pretty...
you want nice aliens, you should go to the Abyss.
Can you imagine seeing The Thing in 1982, how fucking fucked up and horrific it would be? It put people off their dinner. People hated it.
You did tell me not to eat after I'd seen it.
Good recommendation.
But I did, because I'm a fucking badass.
But I think because The Thing was such a major flop for him in 1982, after this run of amazing like hits and classic films, everything up to Christine. The Thing, is like an amazing classic film for John Carpenter because they're all his. So basically, The Thing flops critically, commercially. Even the fans don't fucking like go, "What the fuck, John Carpenter? This is just too much." Because of that, I think he then took a studio film, which was what Christine was, a Stephen King film. So there's like a brand name attached to it. And it's a pretty straightforward, I guess, kind of horror film. So I think he did that basically because he was in a thing called director jail. If an actor or a director like make a film separately or together, and the film obviously tanks, if you look at next time a film comes out and bombs, go and look at it on IMDb, and then just see what the director's next project is, and I promise you they'll either start doing TV again, so they start doing episodes of like CSI because you're in director jail. Or they won't do a film for about 4 years because they're trying to develop and get back in the game and develop another project and start directing again.
But why?
Because if you're proved to be uncommercially viable as a director, no one wants to fucking hire you.
It's political correctness gone mad.
Well, it's not, because if you made he made The Thing, which was a bomb. He made Christine, which was a moderate hit, and then he made Starman, which didn't do very well, even though it earned Jeff Bridges an Oscar nomination for playing the African.
Why do you always play him as? And you sound more Nigerian.
Like that. He's got this very enunciated way of talking, but it sounds like a Nigerian law student.
It really does. Right, the symptoms of hepatitis C, because I just had to find out. You could possibly have this, dude. Fatigue, loss of appetite.
That's not true.
Well, sometimes.
Just take the SN out a dead rhino today.
Muscle and joint pains.
Utah, get me too.
Nausea, abdominal pain and vomiting.
No.
I've had lots of those in my lifetime.
Yeah, everyone's had that. That's pretty vague.
I know, right?
Walking around, breathing air, looking at stuff.
Matt Cat and growing up with hepatitis C. Right, let's get back to Terminator.
Well, to answer
Sorry.
the original question, which was Outland, the reason James
Was that a
Cameron
question?
may have connected Outland to Terminator 2 just as a joke. Not that Outland is a Roger Corman film, but it is 1981, and it's around the time that Stop Smelling the Mics.
They smell so good.
They do, don't they, Chanel? It's around the same time that Cameron was working on Escape from New York for John Carpenter as a matte artist. He was working on Galaxy of Terror, Stop Sniffing the Mics. He basically being a matte artist. So I think maybe he did some of the matte work on Outland. I haven't checked into this. I'm just reaching. But that's maybe why he connected the drug Ploydichloric Euthimol, or PE, which is the fictitious drug used in Outland. Mouseland.
Mouseville!
Yeah.
I watched Green Mouth the first time last night and I did have a little cry. It was amazing. Especially, I got so upset when I thought the mouse was dead.
Mr. Jingles!
Mr. Jingles! That was a great movie. Really good. Well done, Tom. Okay, right. So, back to Terminator. We need to focus.
Well,
I love you,
we've-
John
We've
Carpenter.
talked about Carpenter and Cameron.
I know we have. So, where did they get all their guns and shit from?
What do you mean?
Well, they turn up to Cyberdine with all these bags full of guns. Arnold Schwarzenegger's got this badass like rocket launcher with
I
all the
assume-
bullets strapped to his chest.
Yeah, but they've just been to a weapons cache in the desert. Remember? Enrique's mall?
Oh, of course, yeah.
So they probably just got a car loaded with stuff from that.
Nice. Where would
Yeah.
they have got it from?
Well, they were stockpiling. They're like militia people, aren't they? I mean, Spaldner, as you know, one of our listeners.
If you
who
wanted to
writes
buy a
in
rocket launcher now, today, where would one have to go? To the dark web?
in England, I have no idea. And also the episode he done on the dark web with Bill and Ted's co-star and now director Alex Winter. He said the dark web basically, it's just like coding and horseshit. It's all like legend and bullshit. Unless
So is
you're
the
like,
is the black internet something different? Because
there's
there is
the
a website where you can
There's the
order.
deep web and the dark web, but he said all the stuff you've heard about like child porn, human trafficking, you can hire a hitman on it. According to what he said in the interview I did with him,
bullshit.
is horseshit. But you know,
But like people do order like guns and shit, and
well, that's how it became famous from the Silk Road, which was selling
yeah.
like amazing quality drugs online to you completely safely and paid for with Bitcoin. So I don't know. It'd be interesting to look into because I've obviously that film he did, which was Deep Web,
When is that out?
which is it's about now. You can buy it off his website.
Oh.
It dealt with Ross Albright, or who was the person they kind of
Albright.
pinned everything on, which may or may not be true. We don't know. Is he a patsy? But that's what that was about. So I need to kind of further read on what the deep web actually is. But according to Alex Winter, it's just like code. It's almost like if you pulled the front off your computer, you just see a bunch of like circuit boards and wires. It wouldn't mean anything without the screen on it. None of it works anyway. Unless you're an expert in building computers, you're fucked.
Yeah, you're fucked, mate.
You're fucked, mate.
You're fucked, mate. You know, you were saying about the gas that gets set off when he blows the door in.
The halon system,
Yeah.
which
What did you
doesn't
say-
deplete oxygen.
What does it do?
Well, he says you can't go in there because of the halon system. When I did my research on the halon system, which is the kind of like fire extinguisher gas that comes out of the office ceiling roof in the film, halon apparently is a chemical that doesn't leave any residue, doesn't damage any biological tissue or inanimate objects.
It
And
doesn't.
And it doesn't deplete the oxygen in the room, which is what actually feeds the fire, but it kills the fire. So essentially, it should kill all the fire, and you should all be fine. I'm not sure if you just hold your breath while that's happening, and maybe you shouldn't take it internally. But I was a bit confused by that.
Yeah, I was just wondering if it'd have any kind of physical effect on the Terminator.
No, because he doesn't breathe.
Well, no, that's what I was also thinking. Would it have any effect on the skin? Because obviously he's covered in living tissue.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
when
no, because
they're
they're walking
stood
around
by
it.
the
There's
door.
still hail on there, look, all
Exactly.
around.
Who knows? I don't know. What do we think these big discs are?
Those big discs are all just oh god, what is it? Just giant information, like laser discs, essentially,
What are they? Oh, you mean like CDs?
like a giant CD.
Oh. And also, why is there a dinosaur in there?
Because it's some quirky piece of office tat that an
But
office.
this is a very
nerd-
serious
No,
establishment.
not at all. They're all
Why
geeks,
not?
aren't they? And you know, it's like
Is that why they've only got 2 security dudes on the front?
yeah, it's just a research and development computer company, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I guess this is this thing once they break the Cyberdine ship itself, Skynet. That's what will put the company on the map.
And that thing that Dyson's
That
been
actually
building.
there, I think I'm not sure if that's in the special edition or even the theatrical version. When he's like, I wasted a lot of years on this, and that's that pivotal moment.
That
for
makes
him.
me think of when you're uploading all these videos onto YouTube again. I spent a lot of time on this, and you just had to pull them all down.
Yeah.
You
Thing
were
is, if
Dyson.
I was Dyson, I'd probably figure out some way of like keeping some piece of evidence to continue my work. So I'd be like, I can't fucking throw all this away for all the hard work I've done.
Yeah, but you have to. They've got to go all the way, as Sarah has said in the previous scene.
But I think a scientist maybe would go, okay, now I know this, I'm going to try and avoid that eventuality by changing the design or reprogramming or changing the kind of the course that this project is going on.
That's a beautiful shot, that.
How did they not get the camera in the reflective lenses?
Don't tell me it's a trick.
I don't know. I really
The glasses are a mirror.
Well,
But yeah,
actually,
talking about Robert Patrick walking up to Dyson's house with the flames from the burning bin flickering in his aviators, they kind of look like, don't they?
They do look like that.
Yeah. We haven't actually seen Robert for a while.
We haven't. It was a kind of I think a complaint from many people when I've read up on this, that he kind of like the Terminator does kind of go away. The T-1000 goes away for about 30 minutes in the film.
If we're gonna get really anal about this, like Studio Canal, you cunts. The Terminator says, Arnold Schwarzenegger says earlier on in some of the scenes, he knows what I know. So he knows where to go. So why would he turn up at Dyson's house after they've been there? Why not just go straight to Cyberdine?
I don't think he would have. I don't think the Terminator would have kind of maybe thought to do that. I think he comes to that conclusion while discussing it with John Connor. Remember, they're in desert. He goes, Dyson. He goes, yeah, of course. And then they go. So in the film, which was cut from this, Enrique gets killed by the T-1000.
Enrique's Mall.
He gets killed by the T-1000. The T-1000 arrives at that militia camp area, fucks everyone up, burns the place down, and then he's about to kill Enrique. Enrique kind of like self-sacrifices and lets a grenade off and explodes him everywhere. So he doesn't get any information because he's going, where's John Connor? Where's Sarah Connor? So I can only assume his next port of call would be to go to Dyson's, but it wouldn't be the first. But when they say that, they don't know exactly what each other knows. They just have a basic framework of the history and who's who and where the players are set, I guess.
But then how did he know to turn up at
But
John
without
Connor's
the learning
parents'
computer
house?
switch on, maybe, or maybe because he's a more advanced robot, he doesn't need to be switched to kind of, learning or evil or,
Actually, maybe I'm developing a theory here.
Okay.
Maybe before they did, obviously he didn't know exactly what Arnold Schwarzenegger knew, but maybe there's like an idea that they've got similar information logged into their cybernetic brains or whatever.
Whatever.
But Arnold Schwarzenegger has since had the chip taken out, hasn't he? And then put back in.
Yes.
So maybe that's why. That's a theory.
That you can
Now he's got independent.
Cognize more.
Well, now he's got
Schwartzy's
Schwartzy's got independent thinking. So now the T-1000
Doesn't have that.
that.
So he can take more of a human step in his mind with his thought processes versus going, I will try this, this, and this.
Because that's what computers do. They follow a process without deviating from the plan.
But they're AI, aren't they? That's what the whole point of Skynet is. It's an artificial intelligence computer.
Yeah, but it's still programmed to do a job, though.
I suppose you're right. And
That
maybe
was
that's
my
where I
theory.
think we should leave it. There are links to all the films we mentioned
One
tonight.
further question, though.
God.
You know, he's built this thing. He's like, I spent a lot of years working on this thing.
Mhm.
Is that meant to look like the chip that's in the Terminator's
I
head?
like that moment. It is. That's what it's meant to be.
Oh, okay, cool.
Well, the thing he hits is the thing that goes
I wonder
into...
what that's made out of. Because he
Well,
does
it's
actually
not.
smash
That's just
that.
a model.
No, but I mean, what I mean is what's it made out of in the movie? But I wonder what it's made out of in real life. Because he smashes that to smithereens in one hit.
Well, my answer would be, who gives a fuck?
Meant to be asking and answering questions.
I don't know. I mean, it's just a basic model, isn't it, of stuff.
Have you ever worn a gas mask?
I've worn scuba gear, so does that count? What's so funny about that? What's so funny about that?
What the fuck were you doing wearing scuba gear?
Scuba diving, it's great.
You've scuba dived.
I did it in Turkey.
You fucking hate animals. What are you doing looking at the little fishies?
Oh, it wasn't. I was
You've
just
been to Turkey?
scuba diving, yeah. My
Once?
sister got a holiday home out there 8 or 9 years ago. There's loads of unscrupulous people who'll go put you in dangerous situations without any training whatsoever. They just like, oh, here's a motorbike, here's a horse,
Acting.
here's an airplane, here's a submarine, here's some scuba diving equipment. We'll go out a mile and everyone just puts on the mask and the tanks and goes down. With
You're
like,
Birmingham's answer to Tom Cruise, aren't you?
with
Ethan?
5 minutes training, yeah, basically.
Basically. Wow. So how was scuba diving? Sorry to just...
Really good. I enjoyed it very much. But that initial kind of like
Did you
leap
not
of faith
panic?
you have to take when you're underwater and you go,
I need
so
to breathe in.
breathe in but not drown.
I don't
It's
think I
kinda
could do
weird.
it.
Yeah, no, it was a quite a strange feeling to kind of...
Twice I've almost drowned. Once when I was in Wales and in the actual sea. That was fucking terrifying. I literally thought I was going to die. And I stopped swimming because I've been swimming for 45 minutes just against the tide. I hadn't actually made any progress.
Wow.
And I literally was about to give up swimming. And like it was like something out of a film.
It was
all
like
of all of a
Point Break
sudden
when
this
Keanu's
arm...
caught in the wave.
This arm just literally grabbed me, pulled me out of the water, and it was a bloody lifeguard.
It was a life man.
It was a life man.
Save me, life man.
And the second time was in a swimming pool. In the swimming baths.
With the life
And
man.
that was also in Wales. Fuck, man. Should never go to Wales.
Why?
I'll drown. Because they're the two places I've almost died.
Keep talking.
Okay. I don't know what to say now. You've put me on the spot. I don't know what to say.
Make sure there's no dead air. It doesn't matter anyway. I mean...
Why? What are you typing? Are you
just
prepping
adding-
for the next thing?
No, I'm just adding the show notes for anyone who's actually listened this far into the episode to kind of check of the things we've talked about. Do check out Christine, Halloween, Assault on Precinct 13, The Thing from Another World, the 1951 Howard Hawks version, and Outland the movie. I've actually put a link
Where
to
do
the
you
full-length movie of that for you listeners, and Starman by John Carpenter.
Where do you think Dyson's wife and son are?
Probably gone to her mother's. Whenever black women are in crisis, they take the kids to the mothers.
Do they?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because I've tried to harass and murder a bunch of black families in my time, and that's what apparently they always
That's
do.
what they do. You did live in Brixton for a while.
No, I mean that's just what they do in films, isn't it? It's just like, I'll go to my mother's, just like Sarah Connor's mum, and then obviously the mother got killed.
True.
True that.
True that. True that. Okay, so...
Thank you for listening, everyone.
Thank
It's
you.
another long episode.
Long like your dick.
Thank you for bearing with us. If there are sporadic patches in the transmissions over the next 2 weeks, it's because I've cancelled
Having
doing a
to-
show that night to try and upload all the other
Yeah.
shows. Because somewhere in the universe, maybe I should put them on Vimeo. I'm not sure if you have to pay for Vimeo though, but Vimeo, no one fucks with you. You can just put on the show as is on a thing. But I tried to rip down the things we'd made with the credits and the thing and the
And
thing
it wouldn't
we're
let you
talking
do that.
about. And it
because
wouldn't
was
let me
just
take
blocked.
off the link. Yeah, so I've had to make every show up from scratch based on the audio files from SoundCloud.
It's just as well you're bloody good at editing.
It's not editing really, it's just knowing the technical aspects of I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, thank you for listening everyone.
Thank
We shall
you.
return tomorrow with another show.
Hasta la
Episode
vista,
56. Hasta la vista.
Baby. Damn it.
Watch out for machines. They're unstoppable. Watch out for machines.